Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michael and today's video is about probing or indicating a workpiece with different indicators, different tools, and how and when I use them, and the advantages, disadvantages of each tool, and then also the difference in accuracy when probing with one tool versus the other. So the first question, of course, is why even bother with different indicator tools? For me, that's a little bit based on the history. When I started machining years ago, and the first mill I had was a PM25 from Precision Matthews. Bought edge finders. So set here, come in different shapes and diameters and so on. And it worked quite well. And if you want to indicate something very small, like a pilot hole or something, you use a wiggler or one of these here, or just a tapered pin, and you eyeball it in this little hole. It works. It's not perfect, but it's a lot of work. So then I thought there might be a better option and bought what's called a coax indicator. It's one of these. If you haven't heard about it, I've never seen one of those. The way it works is you put that into the spindle, and then this tip here revolves around an outside diameter or an inside diameter. You can measure both. They come with a variety of different tips, different lengths and so on. If you have larger diameters, you need a longer one. And typically you use one of these curved ones for outside diameters and the straight ones for inside diameters. It works actually quite well. So you put that in the spindle, then you turn on the machine. This guy down here revolves either inside or outside your workpiece, and it deflects here to the side, and when it revolves, this dial here is jumping back and forth. What you do is you just dial in your table, you move slowly in X and in Y until the movement of this dial pretty much stops, and that gives you the exact center of your workpiece. It's very fast, very accurate actually, and it also has one big advantage. It comes with one of these little spring-loaded pins. That's spring-loaded here, the tip. And you can put that in the center of a pilot hole and do exactly the same routine, and it gives you the precise center of that hole, very fast, very accurate. So it works great. There's one limitation of this tool. It requires quite a bit of space in Z direction. So on my mechanical mill, it's actually okay. I have a lot of space there. On my CNC mill, it's limited. So in order to make that work better on my CNC mill, what I did is the following. Typically you would mount that in a set screw holder or in an ER20 collet holder. But here you can see set screw holder, of course, adds another 1¼ inch from the bottom of the spindle. So what I did is I machined my own TTS holder specifically for this coax indicator, as you can see, and that gives me about 1½ inch more in travel, and the 3 1/8 inch shaft slides into here, so I utilize this body for the space needed for the shaft. So that gives me more room. It's still a limitation for very large diameters. If I mount a piece on my mod vise very close to the table, it's okay, but if I have a vise on or a chuck, then you have limited space and you cannot really measure large diameters. So that's a limitation of this tool, otherwise it works great. Also notice this little rod sticking out here, that's there to hold the housing in place or stops them from rotating with the spindle when you turn on the machine. And that's held in place, and of course it needs a backstop at the machine, so I machined this little rod here and a bracket on the machine, sticks in there and then hits this one, and it can't rotate. The housing can't rotate. Okay, so about a year and a half ago I decided to buy a CNC mill, a Tormach 770M, and I also ordered one of these passive probes from Tormach, and I use that quite frequently. It's permanently connected to my machine. I have a little probe holder at my machine in reach, so when I need it I just grab it, pop it in the spindle, and I'm ready to go. It's very convenient. And then I also bought a Haimer, one of these tools. I'm sure you heard about it. It's an awesome tool. It's very precise, and I use that quite frequently also on my manual mill. So I pretty much never use the edge finders anymore. This is much more convenient, it's faster, and I think it's more precise than an edge finder. The thing about the passive probe and the Haimer when it comes to precision or how accurate they are, that entirely depends, of course, on how precise the center of this tip is set. So what you do is to put that in the spindle, you have your test indicator here, you rotate it, and then you set with 4 little, in the Haimer case, 4 little set screws. The Tormach passive probe has 3. With these set screws you adjust it until in a perfect world the test indicator reads 0 when you rotate that. I did that for the Haimer, I think, pretty well. I have a Mitutoyo test indicator with a resolution of 1/1000th of a millimeter, and I managed to dial it in about 5/1000th of a millimeter. So that's pretty accurate. The Haimer is a little bit easier to adjust. As far as I'm concerned, it has 4 set screws. So you just stick in 4 Allen keys, and then you can adjust it rather, or not easy, but easier than with the Tormach probe, which for some reason only has 3 set screws. And to figure out the exact center is a little bit tedious, but it works, and you don't have to do that too often. So set it once, and then it should keep the value. I test it probably every 6 months, and in general it's okay. Okay, in order to compare the precision of the 3 different tools, the passive probe, the Haimer, and the coax indicator, I came up with the following method. You cannot just measure a distance with one tool and then with the next, because then you know the difference between both, but you don't know which tool is more accurate. It can be that tool number 1 is inaccurate and number 2 is perfectly fine, or the other way around. So I came up with the following method. I use a 1.5 diameter aluminum rod, actually it's a little bit bigger, put that on the machine, center it, and mill a precise outside diameter. And that gives me the reference coordinate system. This diameter is milled in this coordinate system that gives me a precise x0 and y0, and I store that in the G54 coordinate system. For the individual tools then, I do the same thing. I measure the center of this boss in a G55 coordinate system for the passive probe, the 56 for the Haimer, and the 57 for the coax indicator. And then I just compare the 0 value for each indicator to the value in the G54 coordinate system. And then I have the discrepancy or the difference or the delta between the reference system to each tool individually. I'll show you that in detail now on the CNC mill. So we move over to the machine and continue there. With X and Y set to 0 in our reference coordinate system G54, we now mill the outside diameter. The absolute value of the outside diameter is actually not relevant. It is important though that the measurement of the outside diameter is the same in all directions around the circumference. Take a very light cut to avoid any issues with tool deflection, etc. As I said, the absolute value is irrelevant, but it's still nice to see if you get exactly what you wanted. Okay, so we machined the outside diameter of our reference pin to 1.5 inches in the G54 coordinate system, which now is our reference system. And then we measure the discrepancy between this 0 position in G54 to the 0 position the probing routine finds for the passive probe, and then for the Haimer, and finally for the coax indicator. So now we switch to G55. And then run the probing routine, and then we see the discrepancy between the 0 position in G55 and G54, and then later on between G56 and G54 and so forth. This is now the probing routine for the passive probe in the G55 coordinate system. So this is now the screen for the G55 coordinate system, and if we switch to G54 now, our reference system, then we see the difference. So we're off in X by 1000 and in Y by 5000. So we now find the center position with the Haimer. We first indicate 0 in the X direction here, set X to 0, then we go over to the other side, measure here, and then we cut the difference in half. That gives us a middle point in X, and then we do the same thing for Y, and that gives us the new 0 in the G56 coordinate system. So this is the screen for G56 coordinate for the Haimer. And when we switch back to our reference coordinate, G54, then we have a discrepancy of close to 1000 in X and close to 10,000 in Y for the Haimer. So this is now the setup for the coax indicator. We first move in the table in X-axis a little bit, and then in Y-axis, and we try to minimize the movement of the dial. That's pretty good. That's pretty stable. I don't see any movement here. This is actually a good opportunity to show you again the height limitations you face due to the length of the tool. Typically for the outside diameter you would use one of these curved pins, which I can't do here. If I stick that in here, I don't have the deflection angle. So I need to use a straight one. The situation would become much better if I either mount this lower in the chuck or mount it to the table, then I have enough length to use a longer probe pin. In this case it barely works. You have to make sure that the ball at the bottom of the probe here touches the outside diameter and not the little taper here, which it does, and that you still have deflection here. It cannot make it so tight that it rubs. So I checked it, there's a tiny little mark when it runs around. It's just below the taper, so it works in the setup. Like I said, there's ways to improve that by using a lower chuck or different work holding, but just wanted to show you again the height in Z required to use this tool. This is the screen for the G57 for the coax indicator. When we go to G54, difference is 2/10 of 1,000 and 1/10 of 1,000 and Y. Okay, these are the results of our little experiment. The values in X and Y are listed here for each probe. They're at a maximum of 1/1000th of an inch and most of the time significantly below. I said before, I further could improve the accuracy of the passive probe and the Haimer by dialing in the center of the probe pin even more accurate if needed. Okay, wrapping up. First, regarding the precision of all tools I introduced. The precision in general is below 1,000, and that's good enough for me. For most of the work I do, it's plenty good, and I could use any tool and get good results. In general, I don't use edge finders anymore. It's just too much work. I either use the Haimer, the passive probe, or the coax indicator. I think I haven't used the edge finder for 6 months now. There's really no reason. Specifically on my mechanical mill for indicating flat surfaces, I exclusively use the Haimer. For diameters, inside or outside, if it's within reach of the coax indicator, I use the coax indicator. It's very precise, fun to use, it's fast. And on my manual mill, of course, I cannot use my passive probe. And when I go to the CNC mill, I would say my go-to tool in general is the passive probe because it's extremely convenient for me. Like I said, it's mounted to the machine, always connected. I just pop it in the spindle and I'm ready to go. For more precise parts, for some reason, I use the Haimer. Cannot even tell you why exactly, because I think the passive probe is pretty good also when it comes to precision, or it's good enough for me, but just I like to use the Haimer. It's just fun to work with. All right, so that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm very much looking forward to see you soon.